What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So by now you probably know that the new inflation report that came out this morning is at 8.6%. Whether you read it in the title of this video or you've seen it somewhere else, doesn't matter. This is a disaster. Now I want to go through a little bit of the report. I want to talk about where Americans are spending their money and what's going on, because not only is this a disaster for the American people, it's a disaster for President Biden. It's also a disaster for the Federal Reserve. So let's talk about what's going on right now. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. As always, if you can, spend 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, and let's get right down to it. So here's what we know. The Consumer Price Index is up to 8.6%. The expectation was 8.2%. Okay? Month over month, we were supposed to be at like 0.6, 0.7%. We came in at 1%. That's way too high. Last month, we were sitting at 8.3%. That was considered a good move, a good thing, because the thoughts were that the CPI reading in March was going to be the peak. Well, those thoughts and those experts were wrong, because now we currently have the new record and we are now sitting at the highest CPI report we have had in over 40 years. So it's not great. This is a disaster. And the worst thing here is that the report specifically states within, I think, the first couple paragraphs that inflation was broad-based. This is bad because this means inflation is taking hold in more than just a few things. Back when we saw, the economy just shut down, right? Yes, food was a little bit more expensive. Gas prices weren't, right? And it wasn't a big deal, because then things started to switch. And then we started to see where, okay, what we were seeing was used cars and trucks. That was the one thing that was really propping up inflation. Well, that's not what we're seeing now. Right now, we're being hit hard with shelter, gasoline, and food. Those are the three things. Yeah, let's talk about some of those disastrous numbers. Here's what we know. Food at home is up 1.4% month over month, which is actually 11.9% year over year. That's more, okay? That's more than the 8.6. The last time food jumped up this much was back in 1979. Yeah, it's been a while. We also know electricity is up 1.3% month over month. Used cars and trucks, and this was a very shocking thing to me. Used cars and trucks jumped from negative 0.4% last month to now up 1.8% month over month. And what's shocking about that is gas prices are going up. So my only assumption here is people are trying to buy smaller vehicles. And that's the reason why we're seeing prices go up. That's the only assumption I can make. It's the best guess I have. Because why would somebody go and buy a new used car or truck when they could just keep what they have and not have to make another or a bigger payment, right? So a lot of issues here. Curious what's going on. We also know shelter is up 0.6% month over month, and this actually accounts for about 33% of the CPI report. We also know airline fees or fares are up 16.1% month over month, and even public transportation is up 11.2% month over month. Now, for those of you wondering why I don't give you yearly increases. Now, the reason I say month over month is very simple. If I were to take, let's say, public transportation, for example, which is 11.2%, 11.2% annualized, so over 12 months, would be about 134%. Okay? About 134%. That's why. Nobody wants to see that, right? You're probably looking at that and be like, that's crazy. That can't be right. It's right. And that's what's so wrong about this. is the numbers keep going up. Now, do you want to know some more scary numbers? Okay, and these are things I've talked about over the past a couple months as well. Meats, poultry, fish, and eggs have an annualized rate of inflation at 16.13%. Now, this only accounts for 1.88% of the CPI report, but it's very important. We're going to get to that in just a second. We also know fuel oil and other fuels is up 161%, but this only accounts for 0.24% of the CPI report's weight. Yeah. Fuel oils and other fuels, okay, which is up 161%, only accounts for 0.24% of the entire weight of the CPI report. But meat, poultry, fish, eggs, that accounts for 1.88%. Seem a little off to you? Yeah. These are the lies we're being told. And this is one of the reasons why we're not seeing 20% inflation, when in reality, we could if the report included energy and food. But that's the thing. That's not the numbers we're seeing. So again, it's a little frustrating. But let's talk about poultry for a moment. Okay, I want to touch on this. And the reason why is because eggs themselves are up 5% in May. But why? And why is this so important? Well, most things include eggs. You buy anything out of a package, pastas, right? Cereals, right? Chances are, okay, it's gonna have some type of eggs in it, an egg product, okay? So that's the reason why I bring this up. But remember when I said the United States had a problem with the bird flu? Well, we had to kill off millions of birds due to the bird flu. Well, that, along with rising prices of fuel and wages, is what is contributing to price increases in eggs alone. So again, it's a whole combination of things. And that's the struggle is right now, it doesn't matter, whether we have, certain things under control or not. We're being attacked from multiple angles. Now, I just want to say that right now, our supply chain looks to be a major problem with inflation. Okay, economists are also projecting that we are going to see persistent upward pressure, and there doesn't look to be an end in sight. And this is why I want to bring you these reports. People are going to say, oh, it's fine. Inflation's going to come down. The Federal Reserve is going to come in and save us. No, they're not. They're definitely not anytime soon. The expectation now is the Federal Reserve is going to raise rates by 50 basis points. Okay, they're going to do that in June. They're going to do that in July. Okay, they're going to do that in August. That's the expectation. Also the other expectation is they're going to do another one in September. Okay, actually I think there's only two, and then there's the third one would be September. That would be the 50 basis points each time. Okay, here's the problem. That's not going to fix inflation. Not that quickly. It's going to take some time. The only thing that the Federal Reserve could do right now is pretty much pull the rug out from underneath the American people and just shoot inflation, shoot rates up past inflation, so up to like 9%, right? This is kind of what we've seen in the past. Is the Federal Reserve comes in on Sunday with Paul Volcker. And this was back in the 70s, 80s, and they pretty much just pulled the rug out from the American people and shot rates up. That's kind of what some are saying is the only way to fix this. But again, if that happens, I guarantee you're going to feel a lot of pain. So again, if you haven't done so yet, here's what I recommend. Start paying down your debts. Put some money into an emergency fund. Just be prepared to have some cash laying around on the side just in case, because things are not going to look any better anytime soon. Things are going to be rough. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, I do want to talk about a huge disaster that President Biden has to deal with. And this has to do with now food insecurities and the option of providing student loan forgiveness. This is something that many lawmakers, specifically Democrats, have wanted to get done over the past year, is student loan forgiveness. Well, guess what's being talked about now? What we're hearing now is that there is a possibility that President Biden has to wait until after the midterm elections to do student loan forgiveness. And the reason why is because there's multiple lawmakers, Democratic lawmakers, who are against student loan forgiveness. And the reason is because they say it's a temporary solution to a real problem. And that is that institutions are ripping off students. Well, some lawmakers want to see that the $200+ billion in loan cancellations, that this goes towards something that is going to help more people, right? Because what we know is if somebody went to school and they have student loan debt, chances are they probably have a higher education. They have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, right? Maybe a master's, we don't know. But one of the arguments recently was, let's give this $200+ billion to parents, let's give it to children, let's give it to the elderly, and let's not necessarily waste it on somebody that has a higher education, which means they should have a better paying job. That's what we're hearing more recently. So here's what this could mean. And this is exactly what Miguel Cardona had to say just this week, is that, yes, we are looking into an extension of the student loan payment pause past September. Well, why would we do that if we're supposed to hear about the student debt cancellation before September? The only reason why is because they're looking to push this back, okay? And it's all because of the midterm elections. It's all because of what we're seeing now is that inflation could potentially grab hold of the entire economy, not just specific indexes. So again, we're going to see what happens moving forward, but what I can tell you is today, and the CPI report that we got today is a disaster. It is a disaster. This is not what we expected. This is not what we wanted, but we got to learn to deal with it. So, as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates again. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. Also, click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. And I'll see you guys on the next one.